Welcome to Seat Time, everybody, the off-road show that brings you all the results, news, and online shenanigans that make being online a good time. We'd like to say thank you to Fly Racing for their support of Seat Time. Please go check them out at flyracing.com. Welcome to Seat Time, everybody. Brian Pierce, your host for this fine evening of episode number 172. Let's just get the awkwardness out of the way. Yes, I am alone on the couch, and it is very unfortunate. But I figure now I can say all the awkward shit that whenever I look into Jordan's eyes and I get freaked out and don't want to go there. Tonight, Mr. Layne Michael, our first guest, he's going to make me go there, and I'm totally on for that. So Seat Time presented to you by the fine folks over at Fly Racing. We definitely appreciate them for their support. You can learn more about them at flyracing.com if you already do not know much about them. Of course, purchase some of their wares from your local dealer. But obviously, it's the summertime. It's hot. You want your man balls and all the sweats to filtrate correctly, so you want kinetic mesh gear. That's what's going to make you feel more dapper when you're riding in the woods, and you're going to have a much more fantastic time out there riding your dirt bike and being cool. That's what you want to do. So flyracing.com, go check those guys out. Make yourself a nice little order. Just ask some questions. Tell them that Seat Time said, yo. Of course, Kenda Tires from the US of A. You can check them out at kendatire.com. Those guys are awesome because they make rubber that everybody can use. It's not like Magnums or any of that kind of stuff. You're like, I don't know what size to buy. You go, hey, 18-inch, 19-inch, bam, that's the way you do it. Obviously, really cool for some of you guys getting into some of the harder enduro type stuff. Go check out the new Equilibrium tires, a little bit of a hybrid, so that kind of in-between trials tire and sticky something that you would use for an enduro cross or something like that. So super cool. Going to have one of those on Seat Time Adventures this summer. I'm actually going to get a chance to test it out, so we're going to have some real-world knowledge on this bad boy. I'm really looking forward to that. So kendatire.com to learn more about those guys. And, of course, Stillwell Performance at stillwellperformance.com. The place to get your off-road suspension done. If you're like, hey, my gosh, I'm riding my motorcycle and I feel like I'm all over the place. There's a good chance if you've never done anything to your suspension before that you could use some help. Now, again, I'm not saying you need a complete rebuild. The best thing to do is go to stillwellperformance.com, shoot them an email, tell them some of the problems that you're having, and they can kind of help you work through what you might possibly need, or maybe even just how to adjust your settings stock as it is, because they're awesome dudes like that. Now, if you do have 4CS, they are the shop to go to. They make that shit so much better. It's tits. So, stillwellperformance.com. Obviously, we really appreciate support from all of those guys. So this is Seat Time, the online show for the off-road enthusiasts. We're archived on our website, seattime.co, of course, on Stitcher, iTunes, YouTube, all those fun places. Subscribe. While you're out there, though, if you are already listening to us, please give us a review. We've said it a couple times. iTunes specifically, that would be beneficial for us. But there is a chat room, which I'm going to even remember to bring up here in a second. It is tlk.io/seattime. Awesome time. Yes, there's a lot of shit to cover right now. The house cleaning is just insane. When it's summer, you get more bugs, you get mosquitoes, you get flies. Got to clean all that crap out of there and talk to everybody about good times. So Seat Time Adventures, things have changed a little bit. Yes, boo, we did not get enough people to sign up, but that's okay. We are not deterred. We have refunded the money for the people that did sign up. And what we are going to do is we're shifting everything forward a little bit to July 18th through the 22nd. We're leaving the 23rd to come back home. So if you want to ride with us in Colorado, fuck the money, just show up and ride. You are going to camp by yourself, though. You're not getting in my bed. You could come do that. We're going to have a good time. So if you wanted to learn more about it, go to adventures.seattime.co or reach out to us on the website. So koozies and drop catch. So drop catch is this awesome invention, I guess you could say. An intern of mine, well, not of mine, that I worked with at the Richards Group when I was still there, actually came up with this, did a Kickstarter project, came up with this, all kinds of stuff. So using the super crazy earth magnets, I don't drink out of anything in bottles currently, so I don't have one to show you. But the idea is that, bloop, you pop your bottle and bam, your bottle cap sticks to it. So it can hold up to 70 bottle caps before it actually fills up. It has magnets up top. You could stick it to your fridge. It's got places you can mount it to the wall. Thing is bitching. So I said, dude, Joe, awesome. And I noticed that you guys do the engraving. I have a web show. Could I get that on there and have some special stuff for our awesome fans? Yes, you can. These will be on the website shortly. I don't have a price yet, but you can go to dropcatch.com. I believe this one is $50 there. I can tell you right now, it probably will be close to that. We did get a little bit of a deal, and I'm going to pass that along to you guys. I just got to figure out what that deal was and make sure everything is kosher. Koozies should be in tomorrow. Once I get those, I'll take some pictures for you guys, put those up on the site. There will be a new store added probably by the end of the week with the drop catch and koozies to make all that stuff happen. The photo epic from X Games was absolutely amazing. I feel like I just did a show in itself, Steven. Holy shit. How many times? I didn't even stutter that much, did I? That was actually pretty good. I'm impressed with myself. But there are more important people than me because I'm shit compared to this guy right here. Mr. Layne Michaels, you're 21 years old now. What's the craziest thing you've done since you turned 21?
Nothing really, man. We were still racing, so
That's true.
I didn't even get wild. I spent my birthday at the Masontown GNCC, so I just kind of hung out and watched the ATVs race. Yeah, I mean, I've had my few occasional beers after the race. After Masontown, I went and had a margarita at the Mexican restaurant. But other than that, man, haven't been doing too much. Still been too busy.
Yeah, no, and that's understandable. And the big thing is, it's like, well, I'm glad, honestly, that you didn't tell me, oh, God, I went on this, 8-day bender, because that's not, it's like, oh, my God, you're 21. Like, we've all, because the biggest thing about drinking is being responsible about it. Sure, on the show here, we have a lot of fun. It's the beer drinking binge racing show. We get goofy. That's part of it. But I'm glad that at 21, you're, in a racer, you're kind of focused. You've got that mindset to not just, go on some crazy bender because of the fact that it's like, I can drink legally. Hey, let's do something stupid. Because, I mean, we guys like us, we could do something stupid with our helmet on sober. So sometimes we don't need to add crazy to the mix, right?
Yeah, sure.
I like it. All right. So, dude, you're in 4th place right now in the XC2 class. GNCC, obviously, is kind of your main staple, if you will. Riding Hondas. You're kind of still on, I think you're still on the team or ish that was going on with you and Thad for a little bit there the past couple of years. So I want to kind of clear that up. Kind of like, what is your team dynamics looking right now for you racing at the GNCC XC2 class?
Yeah, for sure. Me and Thad, we had the opportunity last year to work with Honda. He kept his relationship with them, and I kind of got added on with the squad last year. And yeah, it was pretty cool. We had a pretty good year last year. I struggled a little bit myself, I don't know. I just wasn't clicking too well. And then this year, he kind of opted out and went with Honda and bettered himself a little bit. And Honda was still there to back me. So, the guys at Morgantown Power Sports, Donnie Bowser and Scott Schaefer, they have all the contacts with Honda. And they pretty much set everything up for me this year. And then Amsoil, they stayed on board. And, it was still pretty cool, and we're still just rocking with it. So,
now we've seen a bigger presence from JCR, the Johnny Campbell dudes and their Honda bits at the GNCC races. Does their Honda connection have anything to do with your Honda connection, or are you a little bit more shop based, where they're a little bit more, I guess, factory Honda based?
Yeah, definitely. I think I'm more of a shop based for sure. I don't have any factory support by any means, other than just Honda giving me motorcycles and parts allowance and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't get any the secret factory tips or nothing like that.
That's okay. You're 21. You've got years to pick up secret factory tips. I'd give you a couple if you ever head to Las Vegas.
What's in Vegas?
Life, bro. Life.
I've been there. I went to Vegas. I went and watched the East-West Shootout one year, but I was 17, so I couldn't do anything.
There you go. I think one of the most fun times that I had in Vegas was actually with my sister, strangely enough. Everybody goes there and they do crazy stuff. Don't talk about Vegas. I'll tell you everything we did because I was with my sister. Shit's not going to get too weird with your sister involved. She is a little bit younger than me, and we're tight, all that kinds of stuff, but my grandmother just so happened, for whatever reason, gave us a lot of money for, or I say a lot more than normal. Normally grandparents are pretty gracious, and they were just a little bit more gracious for Christmas. So we had that money to take with us to Las Vegas for New Year's, and we were there buying tickets to go see one of the Zumanity shows, which is kind of like a topless Cirque du Soleil. And the lady was like, "Well, do you want to buy VIP tickets for the Brooklyn Village for New Year's Eve?" And I was like, "That sounds awesome." So we did that. And that was one of the coolest things ever. It's interesting that you walk into these random occasions and just say yes. So that's if I had any advice and you do go to Vegas, as long as it's not a hooker. I mean, I really can't tell you to do that. But typically when people walk up to you and be like, "Hey, you want to try something out?" You'll be like, "You know what? Let's find out what kind of experience this is going to be." And just, don't catch any diseases. I think that's
I got you.
that's sound advice. Sound advice. Okay, man, I'm really good at did I get like hopped up? Did I find some drugs or something? I'm like really like, woo, buddy, having a good old time. So snowshoe looked awesome in the sense if you like really technical, extremely muddy, and badass courses to race on. So what did you think of snowshoe?
Yeah, it was good. Well, was good.
Yeah, except for the end.
Yeah, my crappy sixth place finish. But no, I was riding good. First lap, I think I started on a row with Bollinger and Nick Davis and Stuart Baylor. So like we had a pretty good row, and we got going. Me, Nick, and Trevor, we got out front. We were kind of battling. Then when we got into the woods, it came to the mud hole, and heck, I think we all went a different way and ended up. I got in with Taylor Robert too. He was a couple rows behind us, and he caught up to us. And man, me, Nick, and Taylor, we had a pretty fun battle. It was like 3-4 laps, I think we were going at it, and I was pretty comfortable with that pace. I think Thomas and Bollinger, they actually snuck away from us a little bit. Yeah, I was just kind of staying with Nick. I know he's good in those conditions, and we started wicking it up there, and we came back to that same mud hole on the far side of the track where absolutely no spectators were at, and man, I just bonehead move. I just picked the wrong line and just buried it, and yeah, you're just sitting there by yourself, no one to help dig you out, and yeah, I don't know. I probably lost 6 minutes or something like that by the time I got the bike out, and when I got the bike out, I was so wore out just from digging my own bike out. I started riding again. I still had another 4 miles of technical stuff on that side just to get back to a gravel road or anything smooth. And I don't know. It just took me forever to like kind of get myself to recuperate. And I don't know. I just lost more positions and struggled the rest of the race pretty much. So it was pretty big bummer, but it was all right. I mean, we still got a sixth and we salvaged something.
Yeah. No, I think snowshoe is definitely on my bucket list. We talk about it all the time. Like that's that and Ironman are two that I really want to go to. We got to Big Buck last year. Awesome course. So snowshoe and Ironman are definitely on the bucket list now. But yeah, snowshoe seems to always be a beating. Like even when we talk to everybody, those natural springs that come up, if there's literally no rain in the forecast, it still is muddy and it's still an ass beating. So it's interesting, that you don't want to have a mistake like that because then you get so worn out just trying to make up from that mistake that the rest of the course is just going to kick your butt, man.
Yeah.
One day I'll be in that same thing. I'll be like, oh gosh, that was dumb. Why did I do that? That's okay. I think so. What was the DNF though before that in round 8 that you got?
Yeah, Millfield.
Okay.
Man, that was a bummer. I was really looking forward to that race, and terrible start. It was super dusty, and we don't really know. We think we just had a base gasket leaking. It was pretty much a brand new bike. We just rebuilt it. It only had 2 races on it before that, and we don't know. We think the base gasket was leaking, blew all the antifreeze out of it, and then the motor got so hot because I had no coolant, nothing was cooling it down. It actually burned up the stator in my bike.
Holy crap!
And yeah, like piston, every cylinder, everything was fine. It was just my stator burned up and melted. So only made it about 4 miles in on that race.
That's no fun.
No, because that killed me really. Because I think me and Ricky Russell, I think we were tied for like 10th overall at the time, and then I was still second in the class, and then yeah, we had that big setback. That kind of hurt a little bit, but yeah, it sucked.
Yeah, that's okay. So GNCC this year, though, you're in 4th place at the XC2 class. How do you feel about that? You got a couple points behind Craig and Ricky Russell there, or Craig DeLong and Ricky Russell, but obviously all of you guys are pretty far behind Jason Thomas. So how do you feel about your 4th right now?
Pretty terrible.
Okay.
I definitely wanted to be closer to Thomas, and I was going in the right direction there in the beginning. I had the first 2 rounds I was a little slow, but then I had a couple podiums, and then had a little bit of bad race. But I mean, I wasn't too far off Thomas. We were all still pretty close, and then I've just had a couple bonehead moves on my part and just some bad luck, and we fell back to 4th now, which is pretty disappointing. I don't want to race for podiums. I want to race to win and win a championship. I mean, I think that's what a lot of us are there for. And
Absolutely.
definitely felt like this year was going to be a good opportunity for me. But yeah, I think I mean it's not over yet by any means, but it's pretty far fetched right now. I have a pretty big points deficit I'm down now, so
Yeah.
yeah, I mean fourth's still good. I guess it's better than 10th, but yeah, I mean I definitely like to get back up to second for the year's over at least. You know, I guess if you're going to be a loser, you'd rather be the first loser than the second or third.
That's what I tell my wife all the time. She shakes her head like, "Damn it, Brian." Like, I know. I have zero aspirations in life, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Huge break. Now that we're in the summer break, you guys have a huge break all the way up until September, GNCC wise. Now things are going to happen for you. I know that you have been racing the Full Gas Sprint Enduro Series. We've got another one of those events coming up in the 18th to the 19th in July in Indiana. We're going to see if you're going to be going there. We're going to have the ISDE coming up. You're going to be going to that on the junior trophy team. So let's talk all that stuff. The Full Gas Sprint Enduro. What have you thought about that series? You've been in third place at round 2 overall. That's insane, dude.
Yeah, no, Hooper has an awesome series going on. I can't wait for them things to blow up and him have a whole series out of that. I know it's a lot of work for him. I've talked to him about them, but man, those things are a blast. It's kind of based off 6 days too, which is kind of cool, minus the transfers and stuff. But yeah, I mean, it's just fun racing. It's so close racing too. Other than when you get Caleb in there and some of those guys, they smoke you in a couple tests and you kind of question. You're like, dang, like how are they going that fast? And then you have other ones where you're only 3 seconds or 2 seconds off of Caleb. So it's really cool because it kind of almost pinpoints, when you make a mistake, where you're losing that time and all that stuff. So it also shows you what you need to work on. And yeah, I'm having a blast at those. First one, I think I got 5th overall, and then the second one, yeah, I got 3rd overall behind Caleb and Russell Bobbitt, and definitely think I should have had 2nd on that one. I kind of messed up the first day. I think I wrecked on every single woods test and kind of threw it away. But yeah, they're fun. I'm having a blast at them, and can't wait for the one in Indiana. I'd like to get another podium at one of them. They're pretty fun.
Yeah, the one that's there in Indiana, that round 3, is that at a location that you guys race at regularly, or is this at a new location kind of for all you guys?
No, I think it's a new location for all of us. I don't think we've ever been there.
Okay, because he's had 1 or 2 of them at GNCC locations. Obviously, he still makes up his own courses and stuff like that, but it's at, so let's see, round 3, Stoughton, Brazil, Indiana.
Yeah, we've definitely never been there, I don't believe.
It looks awesome, though. Oh, my gosh. Yeah, even the picture he's got up there. So pretty. So pretty. I'm excited to see where this goes as well. This is something that we wanted to start here in Texas. Mark Cook, a good friend of ours here, local Texas racer, we were trying to get a Sprint Enduro series going. Just so much other stuff in life. It's just so hard to commit that time to it. So I can only imagine the stress that Jason Hooper went through, because running digital off-road, doing all the work with Racer Productions that he does, that this probably was very tough and very, very hard on family life. But now that it's done and it's working and the machine is well oiled, it's awesome, and I'm seeing so cool to see it grow. So we know that you guys are doing really good at this sprint enduro, and that definitely leads us to what's going to be the ISDE. Now, I have to ask because I'm not 100% sure, but have you ever been to the ISDE before?
No,
Okay.
This will be my first time.
Okay, so just break it down for us. Thoughts on going to the ISDE this year on the junior trophy team?
I'm stoked, man. Last year I was in kind of contention to go. I got decided at Snowshoe last year who was going to be the last one on the team for last year, and I was definitely wanting to go last year, but things didn't work out. But I think it was for the better. I don't think I was quite ready, and but this year I went to the sprint enduros and I was riding really good, and I really enjoy that type of racing. It suits me pretty well, and yeah, we when I got the call from Auntie that he wanted me to be on the junior team, I was stoked, man. It's always cool. I've never been overseas, and just for racing in general, I mean, that's kind of I wouldn't say the pinnacle, but I mean it's kind of as a kid, if you want like the Olympics or anything like that, like that's kind of it for off road. So
Absolutely.
yes, to definitely be picked. Was definitely really cool. So I'm pretty stoked on it, and I can't wait. You know, we just finished up right after snowshoe on Monday morning. We had to head back up to Millfield, Ohio, and we had a like ISDE test days, and we broke in our
Yes.
ISDE bikes. And, we had pretty much 2 days, kind of exactly how an ISDE day would go. And you know, we took our times. We had 4 different tests and changed tires at the end of the day. Pretty much everything like we're going to do over there. So it went really well for me. I ended up 4th overall out of all the riders that went. You know, all our trophy team riders were there, and the junior riders went, and I finished 4th overall. So I was pretty stoked on it. You know, my times were good, and we were riding well. So definitely looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm glad that you started talking about the training camp, because that was one of the things that I wanted to ask about. Is I knew that it was happening, but I didn't know if it was kind of a, hey, everybody kind of needs to be there if you can be. Is everybody invited? Which obviously it sounds like it was like, if you're on one of the teams, you need to be there, because we're trying to make sure that we can get the doubleheader win, you know, this year. So take me through a little bit the how everybody felt, or how everybody was acting. And obviously we know serious is that, but I mean, is it kind of in the air that everybody's just biting at the bit to get the win this year?
Yeah, definitely. You know, I think the trophy team's got a good shot. Their team's pretty solid. You know, you got Mike Brown, dude's pretty much a legend. He's solid no matter where you put him, pretty much. Taylor Robert, he's another one. You can put him anywhere, and he's going to do pretty well, I do believe. And Caleb, you know, he finished 3rd overall last year, and that was in desert conditions, let alone you put him in conditions that's going to be more familiar to him, like this year is going to be. And then Thad Duvall, he's solid as well. And Gary Sutherland, he's fast and, you know, really, really good. So, and Sipes as well. Sipes, you know, I think he got 2nd in our test day results, and he was rolling really good. Him and Caleb were kind of duking back and forth for their test wins and stuff. So, yeah, I think we got a good shot too. Our junior team's really good. You know, Grant, he's been riding awesome all year, and Stewart, he's getting back doing things and riding really well. And then Nick Davis, he's going to be on our team as well for the 4th rider, and you know, he's won quite a few events in the XC2 class this year, and he's solid in everything as well. So definitely, I think we both have a good shot at winning the gold medal over there, and yeah, I'm pretty stoked for it, and I think everyone is. Everyone had good hopes at the test days, and we were all excited about it and everything. So it's pretty cool.
Right on. Yeah, it's interesting. I hadn't heard about the update. Now, obviously, knowing that Justin Jones was injured and needing some time to recover, not knowing how long that was going to take, I didn't realize that he had been that they had to find a replacement rider. So Nick Davis is going to kind of be filling in then for Justin Jones not being there. What's Nick's take on this? Like, is he? I mean, I can only imagine he's excited, but I mean, is he? Did it seem like his head's going to be in the right place? Nick, the only reason I ask is because if you look at the results, Nick Davis performs awesome or seems to have some kind of issue. Now, that's either bike, mechanical, all that kind of stuff. No idea if it's just a rider kind of thing, but his results are obviously a little inconsistent. So that's the only reason why I ask.
Yeah. Yeah, no, he's definitely, if you talk to him, he's probably one of the nicest kids you could talk to. You know, he's always in a good mood and always excited. So yeah, he's excited to go, and I don't know, man. He does have some bad luck. That's all I can say. I mean, that kid has some weird things happen. Like at snowshoe this weekend, his spark plug fouled. How a rider like him fouls a spark plug racing, I have zero clue.
Yeah, does that even happen anymore? Like, well,
I know. Like he has some weird things happen to him, but I think he'll be solid. The conditions, from what I hear, they're going to be slick and slimy and, you know, kind of rocky. And, you know, he's from New York. He rides in the mud a lot. And, you know, he was really solid at the test days as well. So I think he's stoked on it. Like I said, it's last minute for him. But, I mean, who's going to turn a chance down at 6 days?
Oh,
so.
Hell yeah. No, I agree with that, man, for sure. If they offered me, I'd be like, well, I need to work out a little, but yeah, I'm in. I couldn't be on the junior trophy team. It's unfortunate. I think I'm twice your age. No, you're 21. I'm older than you. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
I think I have better hopes of being on the senior team in 4 years than I do ever getting onto a club team at this point. But if Brian Story and Jeff Fredette keep kicking ass, well, Jeff Fredette's done, but there's plenty of other dudes that could kick my ass, so it's, whatever. One day, though. One day. So how's the fundraising going? A big thing with this is everybody likes to sell T-shirts, or they come up with some, piece of their puzzle that they're going to try to promote themselves with to try to support and raise money. I mean, how's that going for you?
It's going all right. We got a lot of it. A lot of the money's done spent with plane tickets and hotel rooms and all that good stuff. But yeah, I got a raffle going to win a 420 Rancher. So we got that kind of going. It's going off the West Virginia lottery, and I have tickets for sale. So if anyone's interested, get a hold of me. And then I also have T-shirts for sale too. So definitely, if anyone's interested in helping out, donating anything, I definitely won't turn it down. So
yeah, no, for sure. Do you have those available on a site, or is it just kind of like through yourself?
Yeah, right now it's just kind of through myself because I don't have a website or nothing. So I didn't know how to link it to sell it online or anything like that. So I've just been kind of doing it out of the house and going around. I went to 2 local races and sold some tickets and T-shirts and stuff, and that helped a lot. But like I said, it's kind of harder for people outside of where I live and stuff, where I've been going to get them.
Yep. Well, go ahead and reach back out to us after the show. By no means can we could do very little very quickly and get you shirts up on a website where people could purchase them, or we could do more, but it would take longer. And I have a feeling for you, the less is more, but make it fast would be well enough way for you to be able to potentially get sales and T-shirts sold to someone, say, in California that has the $20 or $20 to $5 for shipping, that wants to support somebody like yourself who is going to the ISDE. We could easily help you get that set up, and that would be we'd be more than happy to help you do that. So definitely remember to reach out to us later after the show's over, and we'll start getting that going for you.
Yeah, that'd be awesome, man.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. Well, cool. Well, okay. What else? Is there anything fun this summer you're going to do besides prepping for all this greatness?
Man, I'm going to be pretty busy. But yeah, I'm getting ready to go to the beach. I think my first vacation other than going to a motorcycle race, first vacation in a very long time. I couldn't even tell you the last time I went to the beach, unless it's in the winter when I'm down in Florida and we get bored and we go out there in our sweatshirts and sweatpants just to see the water, and we're like, okay, it's way too cold and windy.
Yep.
So we go back to our camper and ride dirt bikes. So yeah, definitely stoked to go to the beach for once and hang out and get a little away time, because I still haven't had much of a break yet from my job, I guess you'd say. So I'm getting my little vacation here, and then get back into it. Definitely going to be riding a good bit this summer, getting ready for 6 days, do some more grass track riding and all that good stuff. And then we got the Sprint Enduro coming up, so can't have too much of a vacation because we're getting right back into it. So
I hear that. Well, if there's anything I could say to have a good time, I found this beer. So the guys Oscar Blues that make the Dale's Pale Ale, they make this beer called a Pinner. They call it a throwback IPA. No clue what that means, but it's called a Pinner, and it is awesome. It's only 4.9%, and the reason why I say only is because I think on hot summer days, it's a great beer, and then you can have quite a few of them, because for a while their IPAs were like 6, 7, 8%. You get like 3 of them in you, and you're like, woohoo! You got to eat something or take a nap just to keep drinking. With these guys, it's a good way to go. So this is just I'm a 36-year-old. I've been drinking for a while. I'm just saying these are good to have on a hot summer day.
I'd be good. I'd maybe actually be able to drink 2 of those without getting tipsy, maybe.
There you go. Or to drink during seat time, because we do that too. Right on, dude. Well, I'm glad that I reached out to Thad, and I was like, do you think Mr. Layne Michael would like to be on the show? He was like, yes. I was like, well, that was a quick conversation. I need his digits. So, awesome, dude. I really appreciate you coming on, and good luck with everything. I know you might be a little disappointed on your 4th currently in the XC2 class, but you're doing awesome. You're having fun with it. You're getting a chance to go to the ISDE to represent the United States of America on the junior trophy team. I think that's pretty damn impressive, my friend.
Yeah, thanks. I'm definitely stoked about it. Hopefully it'll be a good experience for sure. I'm definitely stoked on it, and that Auntie came forward. So definitely looking forward to putting in some good results and see where it leads.
Right on. Well, reach out to us a little bit later. It doesn't have to be tonight, even tomorrow, just to make sure, like, hey, let's get that website kind of stuff going for you, so that way you can have kind of, your shirts out there for people to get in touch with you, maybe to purchase those, or however that needs to work out. We can make it work.
Sounds good. I appreciate it, man.
All right, dude. Take it easy. We'll chat soon.
All right, you too. See you, dude.
Peace. All right. Mr. Layne Michaels, awesome dude to have on the show. 21 years old. Totally sounds like he's head on his shoulders. I really, really like that. We are going to come up with Mr. Beau Cottington. One of the things I wanted to talk about that Steven and I did, we came across these guys, and we're going to talk about them more in depth, but I just wanted to bring it up because it was here. These guys fixed products. So what they do is they came up with this. I ran into them at the Outdoor National Lakewood. They're in Colorado, and it's actually a torque wrench T-handle, and I was blown away by this. I was like, oh my gosh, that's so smart. How many times do you go to want to use a T-handle or want to use something fast or quick, and it's just like, oh, I don't want to go get my torque wrench. So you're like, good and tight, the good old German standard of torquing. With this, it makes it a lot more simple, and what I think is going to be awesome for this is using it for your triple clamps, because they do have the Newton meters on there, but whoever wants to actually get their torque wrench to make that go? Nobody. So this is going to make that awesome. So fixed products, we're going to obviously do a video about these guys, talk about a little bit more in depth. I just wanted to bring it up because we've got the stuff here. It just came in. We're super stoked on it. Steven has got some cool ideas for an awesome video. Super excited to show you guys that. Just totally something kind of portfolio for Full Pint Media Group. I think it's going to blow people's minds. Mind blown. So it's going to be a good time. So, Mr. Beau Cottington, what is going on, my good friend?
Just having a pint full of awesome right here.
There you go. Now, we haven't brought it up yet on the show, but I figure you're the best person to do it with. Is this he's no longer with us, but happy birthday to Kurt Caselli. We do have his memorabilia on the wall, and I have to say, what you're doing right now is you're pulling a Kurt, because that guy would be like, yeah, I'll be on the show. I got nothing going on. And in the background, he's like at Brian Deegan's house, like answering the phone. I'm like, Kurt, it looks like you got shit going on, buddy. So I just say thank you for, putting down the work for a little bit and coming on the show and chatting with us, man.
Yeah, no worries at all, and, big up to Kurt. Today's a special day for sure. And, we all miss him a lot. And I know it's a tough day for a lot of people, but, he'd want us to celebrate, not be all sad about it, and just, carry on his tradition of just being positive all the time and doing our thing. But yeah, I'm at my new job right now. I just started a new job this week with Mad Media. It's more of a Baja, trophy truck kind of a deal. And it's pretty cool, man. Great vibe over here. Really cool guys. And just taking a little break from the editing. Been in here for about 8 hours today, but it's going strong. It's real fun stuff to work on. So
right. Dude, it's funny you say Mad Media and you can just see Steven oh my God. He's we all watch their stuff. We all listen to it. It's absolutely insane, but man, it's just, so that's going to be fun for you, dude. What we're looking forward to is obviously with what you do for us in the motorcycle community is amazing with the videos that you get to put out and some of the caps and stuff that you do. But now when you're going to get that time involved with those dudes and learn from their process and everything, just even picking up some of the minuscule details that they're probably going to teach you. Oh, I can only imagine.
Well, yeah, I mean, just already, I mean, the equipment they have, they got a big crew. They've got a solid program. The videos that I've worked on, the footage is just beautiful. I mean, it's all reds and, top of the line stuff, and they all take it really seriously. They really care about the quality, and they really sweat the details. And yeah, I mean, I've only been here. This is my second day, so I'm already loving it. Sitting here having a beer, I'm still on the clock here. So they're really cool. So I couldn't be happier right now.
Awesome, dude. Well, congrats on that. And I'm super stoked to see, not just how you grow, but how that grows what you put out back into the moto industry, because I think it's going to make it fantastic. So you, for the past handful of years, and I say it that way because honestly, I don't even know how long you've been doing videos, and that's one of the things I wanted to talk about is it's kind of where did all of this love come from, and where did you start doing all these recap videos and putting media content out into the moto world?
Well, the moto stuff started I was a Baja kid growing up. My dad was a bush pilot, and his dad was a bush pilot, and so we'd go to Baja every year for summer vacation or New Year's type of thing. From 9 years old, I was watching guys like Ten Honeycutt and like Danny Hamill and all those guys just coming in on their KX 500, just hauling ass through Bahia de Los Angeles down in Baja, about halfway down the peninsula,
Right.
on the Cortez side, and yeah, really just that was kind of seeing those guys come in, from probably a 40-mile paved section, and then they'd stop, put their bike on the stand, and their tires would burst into flames because they were going so fast, and it was just, as a 9-year-old kid looking at that, 10-year-old kid, I mean, it just imprinted in my brain, and I've just been kind of hooked on it then. And I got into action sports when I was about 17. A friend of mine went pro rollerblading, which is, kind of funny. A lot of people, laugh about that, but, the whole fruit booter thing, I saw the world like before I was 21, and went to Australia twice, Europe, the whole deal. And really got a lot of experience making team videos in that industry, and just, having a good time going to competitions and partying way too hard and like tours and all that kind of thing. So yeah, that's kind of where I got my start and learned all my skills as far as making videos go. And then that industry died big time when skateboarding went, real big time. And then even skateboarding got real homogenized. You're either making $1 million or you're not, barely paying the rent.
Yeah.
And so I kind of just, I started working at a place in San Diego called Time Zone Video. And at the time they were majorly a production company, but the boss was kind of a gun guy. And so he had this side business where he sold gun accessories and stuff. And over the years, that kind of took more of a forefront in his business. And so I started doing all these gun videos, like for YouTube product videos.
Yeah.
We edited a bunch of instructional DVDs. And I mean, I was there for a decade. And about 2006, I got wind of Tecate hair scrambles put on by Los Encianos MC, which is a famous motorcycle club from San Diego, and they've been doing the enduro for a long time. And I went down there, and Destry Abbott was there, and he kicked ass, obviously, and he won. And I made a video, and I shared it, and he was real responsive and real positive, and shared it a lot, and was really thankful for what I did. And so it kind of got me hooked, just seeing a motorcycle only event as opposed to Baja, where it's all trophy trucks and all that whole thing. The motorcycle thing really, hit a chord with me. And so I started doing that, and then started working with Works the next year, and did a bunch of recap videos for them. And that went okay. But then we kind of had a falling out, and I started doing National Hare and Hound series just on my own accord, still working at the gun shop during the day, and just trying to kind of, keep the ball rolling as far as my own productions go, and not just fall into the 40-hour work week for someone else.
Right.
And then, it's really easy to do that and then just go sit at home and drink beer all weekend. So I would like force myself to go and drive to Johnson Valley and Utah and these other places. And my wife at the time was very supportive, and she was down to ride and down to go do all this stuff. So it was kind of like part adventure, at the same time trying to get something done, and not, like trying to make an impact and do that. But yeah, like going back to Kurt, that first Works video I didn't even have any kind of like association or anything with them. I just went out to Speed World in Arizona. After talking with Destry, that was the first, Works race after that Tecate hair scrambles. I think it was 2007. And I went out there and did a recap video. And at that time, no one was really doing recap videos.
Oh, yeah.
And I had it up like the next day. And Sean Reddish from Works, he contacted me, and he was really positive, and that was really cool. And then a day after that, Kurt wrote me a message. And I had gone out there to see Kurt and Destry, because Kurt and Destry, like Destry was cool. He was the one that I met, and his character was just amazing. But I was always a KTM dork, reading Dirt Rider and Dirt Bike and all that. And so I'm reading about Caselli, and I'm like, okay, I want to go meet this guy. I want to go see him race in person. And I went out there, and I got to meet everyone and just kind of say hi in the pits. Nothing really, just kind of shy guy, hi real quick and that kind of thing. And then, yeah, Kurt wrote me a message on MySpace at the time.
MySpace.
And he wrote this, he wrote me this like full-on paragraph message, just saying thanks for my time and what I was doing. And I was really taken back by that. And on top of Destry kind of already doing that before that, I was like, hey, these guys are awesome. I really want to be involved with this. So that kind of, sunk the hook. And I've just always been into dirt bikes since I was a little kid. So yeah, I just wanted to just keep the ball rolling and try to, ditch the day job and start doing it full time. And then, yeah, Hare and Hound just kind of did that on my own deal for a few years. And then just this past year, we worked out a deal, and they're kind of paying for my expenses and keeping me going and, getting that thing going. So Hare and Hound series, great bunch of people. Desert racers are a real unique breed. So that's been really fun to get out and do that.
I haven't been to one yet, and I'm really looking forward to the day that I do get to make it to a national Hare and Hound. But yeah, no, it seems not just like the racing itself, but the type of racing seems like it would bring kind of its own special person to that type of special race as well. I think I'd get along with the crazies as much as anybody else.
Well, because you've got the pros, and they're just crazy, like reading terrain so fast and just hauling ass into the void, like. I mean, they'll just charge into the dust, and shit happens, like Brabeck got real hurt, I hope he heals up and gets well soon and gets back to racing. It's tough to see when those guys get hurt, because, they're a big influence in my life. And yeah, just that whole side of it kind of sucks. But at the same time, that survival element is kind of what brings everyone together. And, it's not like at the motocross track where everyone's too cool, kind of a thing. It's like everyone out there is out there for the love of the sport. No one's really making a bunch of money, and so you have legendary characters out there like John Johnson. I don't know if you know who he is, but he's like, I call him the official mascot of the Hare and Hound series. He's always out there with the crazy red, white, and blue wig, and he's got the Who's from Dr. Seuss on his backpack, and he's always rallying people up and getting everyone excited. And I mean, even on Facebook, you go on there, and he's just sharing positivity just all day. And he always says, the only place for a negative is on a battery. And I totally agree. I agree with that sentiment. And that's really like the Hare and Hound series in a nutshell right there, and that's been a big part of, kind of coming from Works was kind of like a big time thing. There was a lot of factory teams involved. There was a lot of kind of cool guy going on. But at the same time, it was still off road. It was still, real down to earth. But yeah, Hare and Hound was like a whole different animal. And so I think it was 2008 I started filming that, and I started my site promoto.tv, which was like my main site for a long time. And I just did like flash based web design, like videos there. And once the iPhones came about, no one could really watch those videos anymore, so I kind of had to change and adapt that whole thing. But yeah, now I got the opportunity also to work with Endurocross last year. They hired me to do all their recap videos, and Endurocross has been something that's always been really special to me because just the format, it's more technical, and it's just all about skill. And, you can be leading and be 2 laps ahead. And if, you mess up, you're going to lose still, and that for me is just something that's, totally, I don't know. I think Endurocross is probably my favorite type of racing, like hands down, like out of anything, and I'm hoping to race in Ontario in the amateur class. Like, I just want to finish. I'm dieting and training and trying to get my bike dialed and trying to ride with guys that are like over my head to kind of try and, up my skill level.
Is that why you were out riding with Cody Webb when you went over the handlebars in the rock garden?
Yeah. And that was really kind of twist of fate there. He didn't have anyone to ride with, and I happened to, be in the area and be free. And so I hit him up, and yeah, it was rad just getting out there and just one-on-one with him. And he's giving me pointers, and then he'd go and I just watch him, and he'd go for so long and just so perfect through everything. The guy's just crazy good. Like, it's amazing somebody can get to that skill level on a dirt bike. It's really something to behold.
Right. Oh yeah. It's like one of those things too, where I can imagine, we're out there taking pictures, capturing video, doing that kind of stuff at these races, and we see them and we're like, oh my gosh, these guys are so good. But then when you take that context out and you're then sitting on the bike and you try to go do what you just watched him do, I think then it even sinks in even more because you it's so tough. But then when you're like, oh my gosh, I'm going to go try to ride what he just did, and it's just like completely falls apart. Or, you go over the handlebars. That's when you're like, oh my gosh, it's like a whole nother level of amazing what's happening in front of you right now.
And really, you hold on too tight, you get arm pump, you're trying to think and throttle control and clutch and body weight and body positioning. And then, going in the rocks, you can be all good. And then all of a sudden one little thing throws you, and it just, those guys are really, and I think even the people involved don't really understand how good they are, like all the, Mike Brown, Colton Haker, all Jeff Aaron, like all those guys, Ty Tremaine, they all just are so talented and really can just go excel anywhere almost. I think, that endurocross to me, I think is definitely the hardest racing you could probably put yourself through. Just finishing one lap for some people will have them, puking. So
Yep.
yeah, I'm just hoping to get through the race and finish without, DNFing or like breaking something, or, that's my goal, is just to get into amateur class, maybe vet class. I really don't know what, but just get in there, try it and do my thing, and hopefully not make the night show, because then I'm going to have to film it.
Like, oh, sorry guys, I can't race. I gotta film it. I don't know.
Exactly.
And you're like standing with a beer already. You're like, yep, I gotta film this. Sorry. that was what was so great about 2013 when we went to Las Vegas and raced there. It's like we went, we did it. We had so much fun riding with the fast guys at their, Friends of Fast Ride, and then going to Vegas and doing all the practicing, fucking up a bunch and not having any fun, and then being like, you know what? I'm gonna go to the bar. Fuck this.
Yeah.
And I just quit. I was like, but I was okay with it because it was, again, for me at the time, and probably still would be, it's about the adventure and about the whole journey and the trip, like the road trip out and the riding the fast ride, and then, knowing that we had this shitty 20-hour drive home. Like, I was going to the bar. So
yeah, I've done the whole, film the race at 2 p.m. and then do the 12-hour drive home, and you're pinging like kind of waking up at different spots of the freeway as you're like, it's like you got to pull over and take a nap at that point. But
your 20-minute power nap.
Yeah, for sure. The 2-second power nap.
Yeah, exactly. You just go ahead.
One of the things that really I like is kind of the contrast between Hare and Hound and endurocross. It's like you go from like sleeping in your truck and it's dusty and it's windy and it's cold at night and then hot in the day, and then you go to endurocross and it's like you're in the pool and in the bar and in the arena. It's kind of like, I like that contrast. I don't know if I'd like one without the other though.
Right. You become like too much of a pansy or too much of a hard ass. Like
pretty much
one way or the other. And we can't take Beau with too much of one or the other. We got to have the nice rounded Beau of a little bit of hard ass with a little bit of soft butt.
I'm pretty soft when it comes down to it, but one thing that I've really kind of enjoyed this past year, Moose Racing, which they hook it up real fat. I got to give them a plug. They hired me to go and film with the OMA series back east.
That's right.
And and that's been just an awesome experience. I've only been to one. This past round got canceled because there was 3 feet of water, I guess, in the pit, so that wasn't really working.
Yep.
And those guys are hardcore. They don't want to or pardon my French, they don't want to have the race, canceled because of rain, because then everyone's going to call them a wuss. But, 3 feet of water was pretty gnarly, so you can't really do much about that,
Yeah.
And
that's the way it was for the National Enduro here in Texas. Like, literally, like, there were lakes where there should have been trails. Like, everybody's like, why'd you cancel it, blah, blah, blah. Like, no, dude, we needed jet skis.
Yeah, there's a point. There's a point where you got to just cut your losses and be like, okay, everyone's going to be hating on it if we do it, And
yep.
It'll be rescheduled and we'll go back out there. And, luckily we caught it in time and we got to, cancel the flights and keep the credit. So we're going to, all my stuff's ready to go for whenever they reschedule it, or if it's the next round, whatever. I'm really looking forward to that. Those guys are really cool. Stuart Baylor, Jimmy Jarrett, Adam Bonheur, like all those guys are just super fast. It's rad to see them like haul through the trees. And, for me, it's a totally new experience because you go out there and you go, okay, here's a whoop. There's a turn, there's a rut. All right, they're going to come through here and they're going to do this. And then they do something totally different and they're going way faster than you even imagine them going. And, a lot of East Coast guys are like, oh, trees, where are the trees? And I'm like, okay, whatever. But then when you go out there and actually experience it for yourself, I think it's really impressive. It's just like the same thing. You go out in the desert, the guys are railing into the dust and rocks. And then you go out into endurocross and you can see everything, but it's way gnarlier. And then you go out into the trees. It's like that whole dynamic of racing, I think, is something that's, attracted me to it. And it's like these little microcosms everywhere,
right.
And each guy can kind of, they get to the top of that microcosm and they can kind of dip into the other ones and kind of excel. I think it's kind of hard for like a East Coast guy to come out and do well in the desert, but Jimmy Jarrett's done pretty well out in the desert, and Caselli did well at OMA, I've heard, and he didn't really like GNCC too much as far as I've really taken on that whole thing. But yeah, it's cool to have that, opportunity to be able to see how, both sides are kind of living there,
Yeah, no, and that's one of the things we've been talking about too on the show is we try to do our best to cover different series or different types of racing, different types of riding and stuff like that. And it seems that things are becoming a tad bit more specialized. Like we've seen, Caleb Russell, who obviously dominates at GNCC, now taking him a while, but he's doing a lot better at National Enduros. But like at Enduro Cross, he struggles immensely. And then at the TKO last year, same kind of thing. Like, and it's not that he's not a technical rider; he just doesn't practice that type of riding. And could he get there? Absolutely. He's that talented
definitely.
of a rider.
Yeah.
But
I agree.
it's like we're kind of getting to that point where things are starting to get a little bit more niche-esque. The microchasms, kind of as you're putting it. So it's interesting to see that we've kind of gotten to that point. But I think now with so many different types of kind of off-road racing, that's what we're getting. So.
Yeah, and really the level of competition in each of these different, avenues of racing has gotten so high that maybe, years ago someone could come out and just kick everyone's ass. But now it's like you go to Endurocross and it's like the Cody Webbs and the Colton Hakers and the Mike Browns and the Taylor Roberts, like those guys have taken it to such a high level. And, the Brabecks and Ivan Ramirez and Sutherland and all these guys in the Hairhound series, like they take it so far, and so far beyond. You can't just go and have some natural ability and go out and kick some butt anymore. Like you really have to put in the work, and you have to put in the training. You have to eat right. You have to wake up every morning and do your thing. Like, there's a few guys, like Caselli is the type of dude, or like Kendall Norman's one that comes to mind. He could probably party all night the night before and go out and win a Hare and Hound and go. You know what I mean? Like there's some people that are kind of exceptions to the rule, but there's still a rule. There's exceptions, but there's still the rule.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. Well, one of the things I wanted to chat about is I've noticed that you've been trying, and I think I applaud you for this, is that you've been trying to find a way to have like a little bit more of a passive income with some of the videos that you put out there. So tell us how we can help support that. The viewers, fans, people that can to get out there and kind of help you continue to do what you're doing for our sport.
Yeah, and really it's tough as a video producer because, like I said, the action sports stuff got homogenized. You're either making a bunch of money or you're not. And it's kind of the same thing in the moto game. And you've got people like that are making like the Moto 7, Moto 6, like those type of videos. Sorry, there's a big siren in the background here, but they're really getting out there. They're getting all these sponsors. They're doing this, controlled setting kind of a thing. But then when you have Sorry,
they're coming to get you, dude. They're coming to get you. They found you, man.
Yeah. No, I'm outside here at you can see behind me.
Oh yeah,
a little bit of but what were we saying? Sorry, I lost my train of thought.
Well, you were trying to find a way to kind of passive income and stuff like that.
Yeah, and really, the DVD sales are kind of slow, and people aren't really buying DVDs as much as they used to, and I think there's so many videos available for free now. It's really hard to compete with that. It's like people don't really have the attention span for a full video much anymore. And there's a lot of people that do, but most of the time it's like, you got a 2-3 minute video. Anything over than that, they're kind of like, okay, whatever, I'll watch it later. But then they never end up watching it. So even that's a free video. So, what I've been trying to do is get, something that's quick. And I think I found it with this new format where I call it raw deals, which is kind of like a slang thing. Deals is kind of like a skate term where if you go out and do something sick and you get like a good shot, it's, you're doing deals. It's a San Diego thing. But anyways.
I'm learning and becoming educated. I like it.
Yeah. So basically raw deals, what I've done is every recap video I do, I do it in steps. So I go out and I film a whole event, right? And then I get home, that night, and I get all my footage ready and I cut it all up, and I usually have about, anywhere from 15 to, even an hour's worth of footage, and I cut that all down into these clips, and I have, 2-3 different cameras, whatever I'm shooting with, maybe it's one, maybe it's two, maybe I have someone helping me, like whatever, but I cut it all down usually in chronological order, and then I take from that and make a short recap video, for everybody with the, just to get the thing up right away with all, usually it's like top 3, top 4. But lately, you know, over the years too, like amateurs are always like, hey, you know, if you got me in the video, I'd probably buy it a lot quicker. And it's kind of like, okay, I understand that, you know. Well, everyone wants to see the pros in the recap video, though, you know, and
Right.
no one wants a 20-minute recap video with everybody. So I kind of took it back to the drawing board and talked to a lot of people, and they're like, hey, you know, I'm in my garage working on my bike, listening to music already. If I can have a video that's just with bike noises, just no music, you know, like just the straight goods, like with all my buddies that are in there too, I'd be much more likely to buy it on the regular. And you know, that goes into kind of the whole thing about, you know, the regular, you know, putting out of videos. And if you're investing in music, you got to find music, you got to get the rights to the music, you got to duplicate the video, you got to advertise, you got to do graphics, you got to do a website, you got to do so much stuff to put out a DVD. But if you just have a video from an event, say 2 days after the event, 3 days after the event, where you just have all the footage that you filmed cleaned up and put together nice, presented nice, but not with the, you know, smoke and mirrors, with all the graphics and all this, you know, laser beams and, you know what I'm talking
Right.
about?
Oh,
like
yeah.
just the straight stuff. And I think that, you know, that's something that might not even make the DVD, because, you know, the DVD, you're kind of hurting for time too if you're trying to cover an entire year.
Right.
And then people don't want to wait a whole year for a DVD, and at the same time, they don't really want a DVD for every race that they go to, you know. So I've kind of been going back to the drawing board there, and I've created this new thing where it's just like, you know, $2.99 to $3.99, $4.99 type price for a video, where you get like a half an hour or 40 minutes or even an hour of all the footage from any given event that I film. And that's something that, you know, it's low cost for people. They can download it to their phone. I've got it for like all the phones and all the computers, and it's all secure. It's all done through PayPal, and you just go on there. And, you know, like I did one for Last Dog Standing. There was, you know, I did a recap for that, and it was mostly the top three. And they did like, I think within the first 5 days, I did like 14,000 views or something on that video. And there was no advertising or anything. It was just like word of mouth sharing on Facebook and stuff like that. So that was really successful, and everyone was just kind of sharing it like crazy. So I'm like, okay, well, how can I capitalize on this? You know, my sponsors really made that video happen for me. You know, Seat Time, of course, you guys were the first ones that I brought on. Really thankful for that. And then we had, you know, TBT Racing, RPM, KTM Racing Team, TBT. I think I just said that. Who else do we have on there? Climb Gear, and I think I had one more on there. I don't remember. I'm blanking right now.
That's okay.
Kind of nervous.
They know who they are.
But yeah, you know, and that was huge. They made that happen for me. You know, Prairie Dogs were kind of low budget because they made their course so gnarly. You know, they just spent a lot more money than they thought they would. And, you know, a lot of these off-road clubs, they don't have a lot of money, you know, and it's the same thing with the Hare and Hound series. You know, they're all run by clubs. They've got limited amount of resources. I mean, even with the Endurocross, everyone's got limited amount of resources. And so however I can facilitate doing this without kind of jumping through hoops and you know, kind of like doing things that are counterproductive for, you know, the viewer and for me, you know, financially, and just, you know, the morale aspect of it. I try to like think creatively and kind of challenge what's, you know, the norm there, and just kind of keep it going, and whatever I can do to keep it going, you know. But yeah, like I said before, I worked for the gun place. I got laid off from there in December. So I've been freelance for the last 7 months. And it's been really tough, you know, and the money's really, really small. And I've been just, you know, forced to be more creative on how you're going to make a living doing this race stuff. And that was one of the ideas that came to me. It was like, look, you know, you can spend thousands of dollars licensing music and then put out one DVD a year and just promote the shit out of it, even though, you know, maybe people are kind of over it at some point. You know what I mean? Like people watch it and it's like a month or two down the line, they're just kind of like, oh, okay, whatever. But he's still selling it, you know, kind of a thing. And you're still trying to make that money back. And it's just kind of a painful process. So, yeah, I was just trying to be creative. And I think this is, you know, something that I've got a lot of people send me messages and just say, hey, you know, I really love what you're doing with this no music thing. And it's been people that are kind of, you know, that opinions that I really respect. And that's something that I didn't expect. So, you know, I'm going to keep pushing forward with this, and it's going to change how I film the events too. I've got a couple friends in San Diego that have expressed, you know, desire to come out and help me out, and just kind of, you know, some film guys that are trying to make their way. My buddy Flavio, for example, you know, he does a lot of videos. He's a good friend of Ivan Ramirez, and, you know, he's a great videographer. You know, he's got his kids and his, you know, his day job, and he's doing his thing. But, you know, he's got the passion and the love for, you know, what I'm doing, and he wants to be a part, and he wants to do it too. And so it's like, why not, dude? Bring them in, get that more angles, more amateurs, because, the more John Johnson types that we can get in these videos, the more they're going to promote it, the more they're going to bring their friends in. It's going to help the sport. It's going to help, us financially with, everyone buying these little cheap little videos. I mean, like if I charge $20, okay, that's great. But if you're not going to buy that, at least you're going to buy the $2.99 video or whatever, So it's like all that goes into gas. It goes into, facilitating more stuff. So
absolutely. So
yeah,
where can people find these short little, the 30, 45 minute videos that are like the $1.99, $2.99? Where are those at?
Well, I have BeauCottington.com, which is BeauCottington.com, and that's kind of where I'm pushing everything now. Promoto.tv was going well for a while, but it was a little too generic and a little, so I kind of invested and redesigned my own website, and I've got several different sections on there. I've got a video section, photo section, I've got a download section, and I have a hard goods section where you can buy DVDs, you can buy prints. Like I have prints of Kurt Caselli for sale. I have surf prints. I do a lot of surf photography and stuff. That's a passion of mine, being a San Diego local. So that's kind of where I'm pushing people. I also, if you follow me on Facebook, it's all at Beau Coddington. If you, Instagram, Facebook, I'm very active on there, constantly sharing links to my stuff right when I get it up.
Yes, you
constantly
are.
sharing my recap videos and all that stuff. So really, I'm really social media driven, and then I kind of just point everything to my website there. So that's kind of the business model I've been going after. And yeah, just, trying to keep the ball rolling and trying to keep costs down and trying to, because that translates all the way to the consumer, the person that's going to buy my stuff and that's going to enjoy it. I want them to feel like they're getting a good value for, what I'm providing, and not like they're paying too much just to keep it going, quote unquote. So yeah. And I mean, you go into a shop or whatever, and DVDs can cost as much as, $30, $35, and that's kind of the same DVD that you got, 3 or 4 years ago, that's $20. So, the digital world is kind of changing everything and changing the priorities and how people are shopping and how people are enjoying their stuff. iPads are huge. The tablets like Samsung Galaxy.
Everybody loves a good fleshlight with their iPad.
Yeah,
because we're weird and we like that kind of thing. No, you're right.
But
I mean, things really have the landscape has changed a lot. So I'm glad that you're educated enough on that to kind of help kind of bring people into that age, because it's tough. People are like, oh, I had to buy this on iTunes. It's like, well, yeah, sure, iTunes is good for a feature film, but for maybe like these smaller ones you're talking about, like it's probably not the place to have them. And so, like, we've noticed Kyle Cowling has been doing Spectrum. He's been selling those video on demands through Vimeo on demand. Like that could be another avenue for people out there that might be trying to find a little bit of money. So it's cool that you're following that too, that you're kind of making that work.
And like I said, I have a lot of action sports background, and I'm keeping. They're all still my friends, and I'm still watching what they're doing. And Vimeo on demand has been a big one for them. And, a lot of the old skate buddies I have, they're doing really well on these videos, like surprisingly well. It almost makes you want to go and do another skate video. But at the same time, I think that, whatever's going to get it to the consumer the cheapest way, the most effective way, and the most open way. iTunes is kind of like socialist in my opinion, because they kind of tell you when and where and on what device you can watch it. And most of the stuff that I provide is like, you pay for the file, download the file, and that's your file. You can't go and upload it on YouTube without me cussing you out, obviously. But at the same time, you can watch it on your Galaxy or your iPad or your smart TV, or you can burn it to DVD if you're savvy enough on your computer and do it that way. And I think that's kind of where the future's going, is kind of, options and just giving people control of the media that they're buying, so they can enjoy it in the way that they want to enjoy it,
I like it. Well, I'm glad that you're on board, because we're on board with that as well. And that's why we talk shit on the internet, because that's what it's there for. Well, one of the things that's going to happen is hopefully I get a chance to come to Southern California again, so that we can have a beer in person and not just have to do it on the show. But we definitely really appreciate you coming on and chatting with us. It's been great to see you grow. And I know that you were a West Coast guy, so you've been growing a lot longer than we've been paying attention to the West Coast just because of being Louisiana and Texas based for so long. But it's been awesome. Thank you for everything you've done because it's helped people like myself be able to stay up with these kind of events so then I can talk to these racers. I can talk to the people on the show. So keep it up, dude.
Well, likewise,
Hopefully it keeps
man.
going.
Likewise, and what you guys are doing is really something special too. Being able to kind of put a personal side to all these racers and organize all the people that you have on your shows. Like, it's really cool to kind of, just see what they're all about in a real time situation where it's just like one-on-one, like you've had some really cool stuff. And that, I think that, this accessibility and just the rawness and just, I think it's just perfect,
Cool.
and hopefully we can, continue to do this without anybody, coming in and trying to rain on the parade there a little bit, but
telling us no. Yeah, it's interesting you say that because that's the one thing, like, I would say probably about 2 years ago, things got to a point where I was like, somehow we're actually getting on a good, strange connection with these people over Skype. Like, and people are opening up way more than I ever expected them to, which is awesome. And that's why when I tell people, it's like, this isn't an interview. This is a chance for us to talk over Skype. This is your show just as it is my show. And now if it ever got to a point, sure, I'm going to try to reel it in. But at the same time, it's like, let's do this. We're trying to promote the same sport that we both obviously love, and both I say because typically, we'll have guests, we'll have multiple people on Skype and all that. So it's been interesting to watch it develop and where it's at now and how we get there and all that has been one hell of a ride.
Yeah, definitely. And like my side's kind of the polished side and you get the raw stuff, it's like when you're just sitting there on, like right now, it's like you can't, polish it up too much. It's like we are who we are and you're just, pulling out the realness and that's important, and a lot of these guys have great character and I've been fortunate enough to experience that firsthand. And I think that a lot of people would be even more passionate about these sports and even more willing to support and drive the long hours and buy the videos or buy the product or whatever it is, if they got to know more and more of each of these people, and they're really amazing people from Hare and Hound to Endurocross to OMA to ISDE to, all across the board, National Enduro, all that stuff, they're really just amazing people. And that I think is what has kept me here losing money, through all the tough times, one of the biggest things, like I got divorced a couple years ago and that was like really bad for me. And Kurt Caselli was one of the biggest supporters in that. And I've just got all these text messages and I still haven't deleted them, but all this stuff. And he was just so supportive of me. And I'm just like, dude, you're this huge guy, factory guy.
Right.
You don't even have any time, and it's like, here he is sending me these text messages. He's worried about my well-being, and Destry Abbott's the same way. And, there's so many people that are like that. And that's really what keeps me coming back, even though sometimes I'll lose money. Sometimes it's frustrating. Sometimes you're just like, I'm never going to make this work. But at the same time, you just got to keep going and keep going and keep going. And whether you're racing or doing a radio show or, making videos or shooting photos or waving a yellow flag at some race, you got to just keep that passion there and just keep moving forward, for
Hell
sure.
Yeah. Well, that's the perfect way to end this. Keep the passion and keep moving forward. I love it, dude. Well, thank you very much for coming on the show. It was great. I'm so glad that you did reach out to us for the Last Dog Standing, for us to get a chance to help you in that. Like I said, like we've grown strangely and we're super, super stoked on that. We had the extra money. You deserve it for all the work you've put out. So thank you for that. And
thanks so much.
Keep kicking ass, man, because we really appreciate it.
No worries, man. I will, and you do too. All right.
All right, man. Go get another beer and finish up your
California.
work. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, get your. Yeah.
It'll happen.
Hare and Hound.
Dude. The problem is, if I make it to Hare and Hound, there's going to be too many people I want to have a beer with, and not enough people that I actually want to race with.
I would say try to get to Ontario Endurocross in November. That's going to be a good one.
You want to race in the amateur class? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. But there's plenty of other time. There's plenty of other time to be hanging out there.
I like it.
Jacuzzi time, beer time, all kinds of stuff. So,
Dig it
for sure.
We're in. We'll try to make it work, dude. Thanks a bunch. Have fun out there, and don't get the ambulance any more reasons to call.
Yeah, no worries.
Later, dude.
All right, brother. You have a good one.
Peace.
Peace.
Awesome. Well, hell yeah, dude. That was fantastic. Obviously, a little bit longer than we thought it was going to be, but you know what? That's okay because as we're talking about it, that's just kind of the way the cookie crumbles. This show is definitely about just finding the character in the people and making sure that we keep it a little bit more raw, a little bit more real, and have fun with it. So, huge props to Beau Cottington for all the work that he's put in creating the different recaps and putting more content out there for all you fans of the moto world. So, of course, this has been Seat Time. You can find us at seattime.co is the website where we archive all the shows. We are on the YouTube. We are on Stitcher and iTunes in case you're wanting to subscribe to us there. It's obviously a great way to do it. Please comment or review. It's going to help us in the long run. I did going to say, cool bits from Drop Catch. Check them out. Of course, we got the fixed tools we're going to be talking about soon. We do have the koozies that'll be coming in, so all of that kind of stuff, minus the fixed, will be going on the website for you guys to purchase. Again, it's kind of, we don't keep things in stock. So when we have 15 of these to sell, we have 15 of these to sell. I do not see us, I mean, literally, unless they go in like 10 minutes, I don't see us ordering a lot more of these in the near future. Maybe 6 months from now, possibly a year. So if you at any point think you might be interested in those, it's going to be to your benefit to purchase it quickly. Same thing with the koozies. We don't keep those in stock. We order them kind of like once or twice a year, get rid of them, just because for us to have things in stock, it doesn't make sense. So pay attention for that. Of course, Photo Epic from X Games. Check that out. Please keep pushing that. We really had a lot of fun putting it together. We think it's something absolutely amazing. So, dude, just please help us push that out there. There are all kinds of other things in my notes that I should be talking about, and who knows what they are. So after that, thank you very much. Obviously, Fly Racing, huge supporter of Seat Time, and we're a huge supporter of them. We can't wait to wear some of the kinetic mesh gear in Colorado. And it could snow, it could rain, and I could be like, oh my God, I'm too cold. But you know what? I'm going to get over it because it's kinetic mesh gear. And I'm going to be like, if it was warm, I'd feel so good. But I'll have my Fly Racing jacket too, and I'll be just nice. So, of course, the guys over at Kenda Tire, I'm looking forward to getting the Equilibrium, which is their hybrid tire on the rear. Probably one of the Ushugals in the front. A little bit of awesomeness there. That's going to be a good time. So KendaTire.com to learn more about those guys and Stillwell Performance. Yes, we will be going to Colorado, and I will only have ridden my Stillwell Performance suspension a handful of times. I'm actually going to get a chance to ride this weekend. The weekend after that, as we lead up to Seat Time Adventures and going to Colorado, is going to be absolutely amazing. So pay attention because we will be talking about that more. Speaking of talking about things, we will not have a show next Tuesday. 4th of July is coming up. We're going to celebrate that. I figured everybody's kind of starting to get to that breaking point. I figured this is a perfect time for us to take a little bit of a 2-week break. Steven's got a pregnant wife, got a kid coming in October, probably needs to spend some extra time with the family. I mean, honestly, he might go on a getaway, so he might just show up at my house anyway, but we're not going to have a show next week, so we'll take a week break, and we'll be back in 2 weeks. I think it's going to be cool. We're going to talk a little bit about the Jack Pine Enduro, maybe a little bit of John Pinton. Try to get Austin Potter on here, who found some nostalgic information out about his family. So that should be really cool. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. I had 2 pinners, 5% each. I'm feeling pretty good. I'm going to have some water. I'm going to crash out and have a good night. I'm going to go work out on Thursday. After that, thank you guys for paying attention. This has been Seat Time. Remember, always enjoy a pint full of awesome. Peace.